All right. So let me start off with being very honest. What you see here is my first Prezi I made. So I think it's quite sarcastic that I'm standing here in front of you without having made a Prezi before. And yet I also think it's very beautiful because I often judge things I don't know like very harshly. And now I had to challenge myself last weekend to find the beauty behind the Prezi technology, which was quite a challenge, but it was also very beautiful, actually, what I found, I think. So I think like when you look at innovation, nothing really changes, and nothing is really new. And if nothing is really new, then you can look at Prezi, that it has like two components, basically. It has software, some kind of software, and some kind of thinking. And the thinking that is behind, I think, is very beautiful. It's like visual thinking. And visual thinking is communicating and processing information and images. And it's so wonderful, I think, what it can do to people, as it can speed up communication and also make it simpler. And actually, there's nothing really new to it. Like when we grew up, when we were young, we had this. We all knew what bathroom to take because of the sign on the door. But also when we were getting older, like at the traffic, we use these signs to say, "Hey, the main road go that way," and there's different sideways. And so actually, what I'm going to tell is nothing really new. So Prezi is not new, and visual thinking is not really new, because we already know it. And yet there was one thing that struck me last weekend, and it was this, that in Prezi there's something non-linear. And this non-linear thing is beautiful, because I think a lot of the things we're working on and doing is not linear, so it's like a complex world we're living in. And with Prezi you can actually show the bigger picture and zoom in. So, what is the structure of my speech now? I will give you a little bit of context of where I come from. So that's that. Then I will look into some of the reasons why I believe visual thinking is really powerful. Then I will look into like why hate is a big word, but why I have some concerns with technologies like Prezi. And then I will end with the quote. So, who am I and what kind of visual thinker am I? Like, my name is Oscar, I'm 27 years old, entrepreneur since 3 years. And when I was young, I always thought I was a special person. Well, I found out it was not so special, because I could not sleep less than 3 hours a night. I could not lift 1,000 kilo a day, like I'm worse than children with numbers. So, fortunately, I found out one thing is that I'm very good at in situations where a lot of people are troubled and a lot of people are in stress. It's like when a lot of people are stressed, I get very calm and peaceful. I feel very connected and I feel very loved to all the people that I'm with. And so it's like being in a tornado and I'm being in that center where it's wind still. And so potentially, I could be a very good mediator. So am I a mediator? Yes, I am. Am I being recognized as a mediator? No, not always. Am I as good as I want to be? No, not at all. I'm really jealous of some people. And some people, why? Because I have already 20 years of experience in the field. Yet there's also in this one, there's something beautiful, because my approach is different. I use visuals to resolve issues from the past, to dream about the future and to see what next steps you can do. And it's really beautiful to see what happens with it. And then I also need to be really honest and transparent to you, because I'm not only using visuals for others, for other teams, but I'm also using it for myself, to check if my life is in balance, and to see the bigger picture of my life. So, next to my personal motivation to be a visual thinker, I think the world also needs it. So I would like to ask a question. Can everyone who thinks they're unique raise your hand, please? Okay. Well, that's 70%. It's interesting. because I think like through my visual mediation work, I've actually come to believe that we are actually much more similar than we like to admit, and that we actually overestimate our differences and underestimate our similarities. And I would like to quote United States Vice President in 1966, and he says something very beautiful, which I think should be the context of any kind of technology. As we begin to comprehend that the Earth itself is a kind of manned spaceship hurtling through the infinity of space, it will seem increasingly absurd that we have not better organized the life of the human family. And then 2 years later, Apollo 8, like Traveler Frank Borman, he's also said something really, where I felt like, wow, this is really special. When you're finally up at the moon, looking back on Earth, all those differences and nationalistic traits are pretty well going to blend. And you're going to get a concept that maybe this is really one world, and why the hell can't we learn to live together like decent people? And yeah, reading this out loud makes me a little bit sad. It's yesterday I heard from a former business client that he committed suicide. And that makes me sad, as I also know some people from my age that have done so. And so it makes me sad that we as a society have not really found a way to be vulnerable, to be open, and to be authentic, and to be really showing ourselves really. And I think that's that's very. It doesn't make me feel good. And yet, there is also a way. And I think one of those ways is visual thinking. It can make a difference here. So, let me share with you 3 main reasons why I think visual thinking is so wonderful. So, first of all, visual thinking keeps the essence. It gets us very close to the essence that we're on. So, let me see. Yeah. And when I look at myself, I'm not hunting anymore for bananas or for animals. And when I talk about a lot of the things I do, it's very abstract. So I talk about, for example, peace, collaboration, sustainability, and then yet, of course, after sex and those kind of things. But like visualization forces me to simplify, simplify, and simplify. And it forces me to keep the essence within the complexity. And I think that's really beautiful. So I would like to try something together, because I also would like to practice something. So can we all get a booklet, like the booklet that we have, and a pen and paper or something to write with? Because like with each of the 3 arguments, I would like to have you experience it. And the reason why I want you to experience it is twofold. One is you experience what it's like to be a visual thinker. And the second reason is that my word diarrhea might make sense to you. So all right, everyone have a pen and paper ready? Yeah? Or a pencil or like a tablet? Okay. So I'll challenge this. I would like you to draw an animal, and this animal is a cat. So I would like you to draw a cat, and I'm going to count 5 seconds, within 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Anyone still drawing? Okay, so probably when you're not yet done, or like in the middle of it, probably you were still had some problems with imagining what a cat looks like, or you had some problems of catching this essence of this cat. So, to me, like the essence of a cat is actually quite simple. Maybe you can hold up your cat, so I have some inspiration as well. But I think there's like this, the moustache. There is the ears. I think this is sort of the basic concept of a cat. And then maybe there's a nose. Maybe some eyes. But this is sort of the basic concept of a cat. So actually it forces us from a very difficult concept, a very a complex animal, to actually simplify it. And I think it's wonderful. So then, what I would like you to remember from, if you look at your cat, maybe look at your cat. How happy are you with your cat? Very happy? Like, yeah, very happy? Okay, great. So if, for the ones that are not so happy, I can tell you, I can take away some worries. Because like visual thinking is very much about communication. So it's not about like if you draw this cat perfectly, actually it's about communicating. And what is the beautiful thing about communication? That if you draw only 20% of what this figure looks like, well, I think it's not more than 20% of this whole cat, then 80% of the people in this room will understand that it's a cat. If you're still in doubt about your cat, you can always do one thing, and is write the word cat to it. So, and this is not cheating. Normally at school we would say it would be cheating, but actually it's just smart communication. So next to getting to the essence, I think there's another reason for why visual thinking is so beautiful. And I see it does not really line out properly. Well, it is, you can actually get the clarity you really need for where you are. So it can help you to create a bigger picture. It can help you see options, and it can help you actually make decisions. So do you guys know the movie Alice in Wonderland? Some of you? Okay. So for the ones who know and for the ones who don't know yet, Alice at some point comes like at this crossroad, and she's looking, and she can go left or right. And she's thinking like, where should I go? Then she sees this cat, maybe this cat. She sees the cat in the tree, and she asks the cat, hey, where should I go? Should I go left or right? What the cat says, well, where do you want to go? Alice says, well, I don't know. The cat says, well, then it doesn't matter where you go. So visualization can actually help you see what options you have and what choices you have. So let's do another exercise. Take another page. And then we're going to draw. Okay, well, maybe this one. Very complex flip chart. Let's draw a person. Does everyone know how to draw a person? Let's start with the head. It's like a little circle. And then we all know the letter V, I think. So let's draw a little V here, little V here, and a longer V. And again another V. This is like a human being. So now I would like you to draw like one big arrow and another big arrow. How does that go? Okay. For the ones that want to challenge, a little bit of a challenge, draw a little pole here and then a little pole here. And then draw like a chord. So this person has to choose something. But it's very hard for this person. And actually, I'm going to tell you a little secret. This person is you at this moment in time. So you can choose at this moment to stay or to go. So I would like you to mention one argument, like why you should go, stay, or why you should go. And I can give you some inspiration in the meantime while you think of one argument why you should stay or why you should go. So why you should stay, I think I'm a very handsome presenter. You can also stay because you actually want to learn something about visual thinking. Or you can actually stay because it's a beautiful room. Huh? So why do you want to stay? Can you write it down? So why should you want to leave? Well, there's different reasons, very practical ones, like I need to go to the bathroom. But it can also be, I want to see my children, or I want to actually check my email. Haven't checked it all day. Or actually, I want to enjoy the weather. So like, what is it for you? Why would you want to go now, in this moment of time? So now think about it. Do you want to stay or do you want to go? Okay, some of you want to stay. Okay, if you want to go, it's perfectly fine with me, really, because I trust there's a good reason for you to go. So if you, at some point during this talk, you think, okay, now it's really time to check my email, just go. Yeah, it's really no problem with me, because I trust there's something good in it. Yeah. So, so this kind of thinking, this very simple choice of staying or going, you can also apply to very complex organizational issues. So, for the ones that are interested in drawing an organization, this is how you draw an organization. So, very old-fashioned fun. So, and this kind of thinking you can apply to like big organizational questions like should we restructure, yes or not? Or should we change strategies in communication? But also like you can also apply it to your relationship. Should I quit or should I stay? Very simple. And like the outcomes can be very harsh with these kind of exercises. And the clarity can be very painful for the people involved. Yet there's also something beautiful about it, because it often provides a lot of relief to the people in the room. Like for example, when I stopped doing economics at university, I actually I found the human psychology field and I loved it. When I quit university a few years ago, I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. Like now I can work with two people I really want to work with. So let's go to the next step. No, we are going way too far. So visualization, thirdly, can also help you to explore the right question. So how does that work? Can everyone just check with himself? Can you see your own nose? Can you see your own nose? Like just look at your nose. Yeah? Some of you can see your nose? Yeah? Okay. Okay, that's very special because most people cannot really see it. Like I tried it a few times last weekend and I still do not really see anything. So what? Is there someone? Okay. So the beautiful thing is this, that often like a lot of things we can, like our blind spots, we are like very stuck in our own body. So if I look at myself, I cannot see if there's a black spot on my nose. So I really need to check like with you guys, like, hey, is there a black spot on here? No, there's no black spot. Okay, great. So with visual thinking, you can actually use these blind spots, and you can actually look at how you can break those. So let's maybe take another page, and I would like you to draw these two circles. And I would like you to draw, or like to write in there, like what you really love doing. What do you love doing? Like I love to play, for example, playing piano. And I like also the attention, and I like to prepare for speeches. So now before you fill this out further, let's give you let's teach you like in 3 minutes how to visualize, because actually it's not that hard. There's like three different. If you look at the grammar, there's like lines. There's like forms, and there's the alphabet. So let's practice some of these things, because once you know these signs, this grammar, then you can draw anything, I promise you. So let's draw a dot first. An I, inverted V, maybe like something like this. Then the forms, you can draw a circle, like a little bit more of an I. Triangle, square. With these forms, and then with the alphabet, with these forms you can draw anything. So let's maybe have a look. Let's look at this cat. So for the cat, for the ears, I just take this one. It's like too easy. For the moustache, it's like a line, but then I make it a little bit curved. And I do the same here. For the nose, I just take the circle. And maybe for the eyes, a little dot. No, it looks quite pretty, I think. And, and then I always get comments that I draw like really ugly in groups. So, okay, so there you go. We finish it with the circle. Okay. Same you can do with a car. Like if you look at a car, like basically a car is very simple. It's like one big block, one smaller block, and two rounds. It's like a car, but then it's a little bit ugly car. Yeah. So you can actually try to experiment and advance, and you can go like, hey, what if I do it a little bit like this? So this is a car I would like to drive. Huh? So from these very basic forms, you can actually draw anything. So now I would like you to look at the things that you wrote here. Like what are the things that you like doing? And then make a little symbol. And I would like you to make sure that it's fris. And we have a little acronym. It stands for fast, real-time, imperfect, and simple. So if you draw something fast, it's very simple. If you draw something very simple, it's actually also very fast to do. And if you do it very fast, then often it's not so perfect. Today, actually, I think it's quite perfect, but normally it's not so perfect. And when it's not perfect, then you know that it's real time, and when you know it happens in real time, then you know it's the essence. Because when you're in a brainstorm, you only write down the essence. So, can everyone think of like symbols for their own thing? So maybe just draw them as well. Like I just do for the piano. I just do like very simple, like a little music note. For a speech, I make like a speech bubble. Okay, so now for the ones that are ready, can you think of what's in here? Any ideas? Like what's this ultimate combination of these two? I really cannot think of it for myself. I really cannot. But if I ask like my business partner, he thinks of like 10 different things. So the beautiful thing is here that we know certain things, but we don't know this area, but we can ask a question to someone else. And this is where we make a connection and where we actually, where visualization can actually help you break your blind spot, break like this area that I cannot see and I can still see. I notice that there's something itching. I know that there's something there, but I can check it with someone else, what it really is. All right. So, why do I love Prezi? In short, it's non-linearity, because I think like non-linear, it's more like the world is, a very complex thing. Then I also think like there's beautiful visual thinking is behind. But then what is my concern? First of all, technology will never, never replace the human being. It will never replace you. It will never replace this bigger picture thinking that you have in yourself, this disconnected and connected thinking. Secondly, and I think like you always need like some kind of sketch before you make a Prezi. I had to make a little sketch of how it would sort of look like. Secondly, form follows function. So a visual, like making a Prezi, does not mean that the idea is good. It can still be a wolf in sheep's clothes. And there I would like to end with a little positive note. Is that like in Prezi, I think there's really something beautiful behind it, because there's visual thinking principles, but also principles and values like collaboration, sharing, bigger picture thinking, but also play behind. And I think it's beautiful, because actually Prezi, you could say that Prezi is actually running ahead of like where we are at as a society in human evolution. So if you look, like now we are still very much in this competition area, in this property ownership, very linear thinking, and I think this, I call it the cultural lag. The cultural lag is actually that the values of our culture that we're living in are lagging behind the values that the new technology has. And I think if we are not aware of that our attitude influences the way we use things, then we have a really big problem in using any kind of technique, and especially Prezi. And that's maybe where the pain comes from, because if I see people misusing techniques like these, beautiful techniques, then it really hurts me. So, now, I would like to finish with one thing, and it's, in the end, for me, it's all about the human connection. It's all about being the human family and connecting offline. And if you're not connecting offline, then we can do anything online, but it is about that in the end. It is a connection between me, you, and the human family. And so I would like to finish actually with one poem from an American poet. She's really awesome. And it goes like this. She's Clarissa Pinkola, and I think she nails down what we are all about. Because if you're a Prezi user or not, if you're a Prezi lover or not, if you're a Prezi hater or not, it does not matter. Because she writes, "We do not become healers, we came as healers, we are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become storytellers, we came as carriers of the stories we and our ancestors actually lived, we are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become artists, we came as artists, we are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become writers, dancers, musicians, helpers, peacemakers. We came as such. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not learn to love in this sense. We came as love. We are love. Some of us are still catching up to who we truly are." Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar.